All right, I see the numbers growing and growing, so I think it's time to get started. Congratulations, first and foremost. You have been admitted to Viterbi School of Engineering, the Computer Science Department, which is our largest department in the School of Engineering. And so you can imagine we received the most applications, and so it's very competitive. And so you all should feel very proud and just really accomplished for receiving your admission to the department. We're really excited to have you and welcome you to the Trojan family. I have a short presentation, just a couple of slides. We know that you are probably using this time to really learn more about our school and what your future could possibly look like here at USC. But you also may have other schools that you're weighing in on your decision. And so we want to hopefully answer most of your questions today, and give you a better idea of what USC is like, so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Feel free to hold off on your questions for right now. We will be answering a lot of your questions later in the Q&A. We have a student panel that can answer some of your questions. We have our computer science chair and advisors here to help answer your questions as well. So hopefully you have a more complete picture, and are able to make a great decision for yourself. But congratulations. So we are located in Southern California in sunny Los Angeles. Um, and hopefully throughout the picture, or throughout the presentation, there will be some pictures of campus so you can really get a feel what it's like on campus if you haven't been here before. We are in Los Angeles, very centrally located. Um,
Julie,
yes.
sorry to cut you off. I'm not sure if you're sharing a screen. At least I can't see the screen
Oh
on my end.
no. Okay, let's see. You're right. You're right. I'm not sharing. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Okay. Are we good now?
I see it now, yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Okay, so as I mentioned, very centrally located. We are about a mile away from our downtown Los Angeles, very close to the coast, about 20 miles to the Hollywood Hills. So, you're in a great position to do all the fun things that Los Angeles brings. Looking to the left, we are a global hub for innovation in Los Angeles. You may have heard of the Silicon Bay Area or the Silicon Beach, with a lot of startups, and a lot of big tech companies that have satellite offices here in Los Angeles. You can also see that we have two research facilities, ISI and ICT. These are primarily the researchers that work in these centers are computer scientists. So we have a really good foundation here in Silicon Beach. So that's great for you, right? Lots of job opportunities, lots of internship opportunities as well. Um, Being central, we're a short walk from a lot of things. Right across the street are a lot of museums, the Natural History Museum, our California Science Center. We have our Coliseum where we watch all of our football games. LAFC has a stadium across the street as well. Just a short bus ride away is downtown Los Angeles, where there's LA Live and the Walt Disney Concert Hall, Chinatown, Little Tokyo. Lots of really fun places for you to check out. And then within 15 miles, we mentioned the beach. So Santa Monica Pier is a great tourist attraction. Beverly Hills and Hollywood and Universal Studios and the Griffith Observatory is also a really popular spot and good hiking place for students. So really, there's no shortage of things to do here in Los Angeles. But we know that, heavy on your mind is your career, landing that dream job and really understanding that your graduate experience is going to help prepare you for that next step. So we have a lot of resources. We have a USC Career Center that services all students at USC, but we also have our Viterbi Career Connections, which is specifically for engineering students. And so a lot of our employers come and they recruit students from the Viterbi Career Connections. They put on career expos, they put on Trojan Talks, lots of opportunities to network with recruiters. And a lot of the recruiters are USC alumni too. So they understand exactly what your curriculum is. They understand the classes that you've taken and know how well you're prepared to make a contribution in the field. Just a snapshot of all the activities that go on in Viterbi's Career Connections. You can see over 19,000 jobs posted specifically for Viterbi students. We have tons of employers that come and recruit at our expo. Lots of activities for you to become ready for that next step in your career. We don't place students in jobs. I get that question a lot. Is there job placement? We don't place students in jobs, but we do prepare our students very well to be equipped to earn your own position. With lots of networking activities, we invite employers to come and do mock interviews with our students to look over your resumes and let you know exactly what they're looking for. So you will be well prepared. A great way to also network and build your network is to get involved. There are no shortage of activities to get involved with here at USC. There are cultural events. There are talks and seminars to attend led by just really the leaders in the field, people with renowned reputations, such as the CEO of Uber. If you have entrepreneurship in your blood, you might want to take advantage of our Viterbi Startup Garage. You can join a student organization. If you like to plan events yourselves and you want to advocate for students, the Viterbi Graduate Student Association is a great place to start. All of these activities are accessible through Engage SC, which is an app that has all of the events campus-wide that are available for you to attend every single day. More about activities on campus, even if you are not, you know, involved in athletics or that's not your thing, we really encourage you to attend a tailgate, attend a football game, attend a basketball game. There's so much fun. Participate in a hackathon. There's plenty. And we know that computer science, you know, your the major that you've chosen for yourself. It is rigorous, but it is really important to keep that balance. And so there's plenty of wellness events and activities and ways to make sure that you are prioritizing yourself. Lots of mixers and networking events to get involved with. So it really, you know, USC has a lot of tradition, a lot of spirit, and so it's a great place to be for your graduate studies. Okay, but the sooner you submit your statement of intent, the sooner you have access to a lot of things like pre-orientation resources. People always ask, when is orientation? That's going to be later in the summer in August, but we do have pre-orientation resources available in the summer that you can access. You can join the Viterbi Mentorship Program, where you get paired up with a current graduate student and you can ask questions, ask them about their classes, about their faculty, places to eat, anything that you might want to know. You can connect with your academic department through webinars. So today we have a webinar. I believe later in the summer you'll also have another webinar about how to register and what to look forward to and what to expect during orientation. You can explore housing options. So I do not think that you can apply for on-campus housing until you submit your statement of intent. So that's another reason why you might want to do that sooner than later, because there are limited options for housing on campus for graduate students. And then the sooner you can request your I-20 and initiate the visa process if you are an international student. The deadline might be different for some of you. For most of you, it should be April 15th. So you really want to check your USC portal to find out when that deadline is. You are going to go through the motions and click the little box saying, yes, I want to submit my intent to enroll for the fall, and then your deadline should appear. For our international students, you do have to complete Trojan International, and we really encourage you to do that as soon as you can. You do not need to do that by April 15th. However, the sooner you do that, the sooner you can start that visa process. And we're hearing that visa timelines are taking longer than usual, so you probably want to do that sooner than later. Okay, and if you think USC could be the right fit for you, we encourage you to take advantage of coffee chats with our students and additional webinars. Take a virtual tour of campus if you're not close by. Explore our student organizations. You can learn about student safety. That's a priority for us here, and some wellness activities. So this QR code should kind of give you a quick access to those kinds of things. And lastly, we have tons of student ambassadors, about 25 this cycle. And these are current students that are here at USC who have been in your shoes and know what it's like to have been admitted and be so excited. But also, understand what decisions that you need to that are going through your head that to make the best decision that you can for yourself. Our student ambassadors are you can sort by major. So if you're looking for someone that is in computer science, you can look for a student ambassador that's studying computer science. If you're looking for someone from your hometown, you can filter by hometown and see if you can find someone that really knows what it's like to make the move across the United States or across the world. Okay, I think that's it for my presentation. If you would like to contact us, you can fill out this form. We are happy to answer questions. We're happy to schedule one-on-ones, anything that's going to give you the information you need to make a good decision for yourself. Okay, let me stop my presentation and hand things over to your chair. Have I stopped sharing or am I still sharing?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Idania is now sharing the CS spotlight slides.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you, Idania. And I guess I can take over now. Hi, everybody. My name is Nenad Medvidovic. I am the chair of the computer science department. I have been chair for the past 3 years. I have been in the CS department at USC for over 26 years at this point. So my guess is probably longer than at least some of you have been alive. I'll give you a few words about the department, who we are, what we do, what we look like, what you might be able to expect when you join. After that, several of our, well, there's going to be a chance for some questions and answers, I guess, but several of our advising staff who are incredibly knowledgeable and absolutely brilliant will be able to give you further details about the department kind of from the ground level. If anything comes up where you have questions after this, you just think of something that you forgot to ask today, you can always feel free to shoot me an email. If I know the answer, I'll answer quickly. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. Hey, Dani, if we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so you've heard a little bit about USC, where we are, the city of Los Angeles, which is this very large, bustling metropolis with lots of things to see and do and amazing weather. But for many of you, just want to warn you to expect that you're not going to always be able to make use of that, of all that's available to you and all of the amazing things that are out there and the great weather, other than maybe walking from class to class because you'll be busy, but that's what you came, where you're coming to USC for. So that's all as expected. I'll give you a quick introduction to the department. I'll tell you a little bit about our faculty. We'll talk a little bit about the programs that we have. And then between me and our advising staff, you'll get your questions, any frequently asked questions answered. And then at that point, there's going to be a few minutes for a Q&A. If we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so you've already heard about USC. I'm sure you've researched it. Unlike back in the day when I was applying to grad schools and you actually had to go to a library and hope that there's a book available that can tell you about a university you might be interested in, now everything is online, so you can easily find it. So you may know that USC was founded 145 years ago. We have close to 50,000 students. We actually have more graduate students than undergraduates, so you will be part of a very large cohort of brilliant people, and many of them are going to be pursuing advanced degrees like you are. The university has over 4,700 full-time faculty, an incredibly diverse population. LA itself is an incredibly diverse city. We only semi-jokingly say that everybody here is from somewhere else. It's pretty true, actually. Most people are not from LA, myself included, obviously, as you can probably tell by my name. So there are lots of different opportunities and advantages to being in a place like this. If we can go to the next slide, please. This is who I am. Everybody calls me Nino. It's completely okay for you to address me as Nino. We all know what my job title is. That's not who I am as a person. So I, you don't have to worry about the formalities. It's much easier to pronounce anyway. I've been chair, as I said, for the last 3 years, and my term as chair is expiring this July, or rather at the very end of June. But there is a better than average chance that I will continue on for another 3 years. So you'll be seeing me in the same capacity. We can go to the next slide, please. This is our department. We're the largest department on campus. It's an amazing department. It's a very young department, not only because we have such a large number of students, as you can see in the kind of bottom center part. We have almost 6,000 students. We have also a very young faculty body. So most of our faculty, kind of the single largest constituency of our faculty, are people who've been at USC for under 10 years, and that's by far. We've been around for, depending on how you count, 48 years. That doesn't really tell the full story because the computer science program was spun off from electrical engineering in 1972. So at this point, this would have been our 50th, 51st year. It became an official department in 1976. So really toward the middle or latter part of next year, it's going to be our 50th year as a department. So it just kind of, depends on how you want to count. We've been around for around 50 years. Lots of cool research is happening here. And last year, our research expenditures between the department proper and all of our faculty and students who are working at the Information Sciences and Institute and the Institute for Creative Technologies, which are the two affiliated institutes in Marina del Rey, so further to the west from the campus. Basically $41 million in research funding or research expenditures last year. There is a new initiative. The School of Advanced Computing has a new Frontiers of Computing initiative, and there up to 60 new professors are going to be hired over the next 5 to 10 year period, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to bore you with these numbers. The one that's relevant to us is about 1.5 years ago, we became a named department. We're now the Thomas Lord Department of Computer Science. And as part of that naming, we got a $50 million donation, naming gift from the Lord Foundation. And when that gift is put in place, it'll give us the opportunity to do certain things, because once you have the funds and the resources, there are certain things that we can do for our students and our staff and our faculty. For those of you who might wonder who Thomas Lord was, you probably have not heard of him. I had not. He was an engineer he was not a computer scientist, because back in the day, computers didn't really exist other than, like the ENIAC was being constructed, for example, and so forth. It was in the 1930s when he figured out how to bind rubber to metal, and made a lot of money, especially in the Second World War, because there were a lot of military applications of that. And eventually they turned it into a nonprofit foundation, and USC was able to, they basically donated a large chunk of money to us. There are lots of different things that you can do as part of the computer science department. There are many, many reasons why you want to be in this department. As I said, it's the largest department on campus, a lot of different research opportunities, cutting edge classes, and obviously cutting edge research, things that you can do with faculty in your area of interest are going to be super exciting. If I can give you one word of advice and maybe a word of caution, my guess is, and I actually already saw at least one Q&A question asking how does one switch to the AI track? No problem there, of course. If you're looking to do some research, there are lots of faculty who are doing incredibly interesting research, and you should kind of float around and try to figure out who does what and do some search online as well. If every single incoming student and every single student we already have on campus wants to do stuff in AI and machine learning, you could imagine the competition is going to be incredibly tough. I would encourage you to think about what problems you like to work on, because I guarantee you that it's much more likely than not that whoever is working on those types of problems nowadays is using AI and machine learning, even though they might not tag themselves as an AI/machine learning faculty. So, for example, I do research in software engineering. A lot of my current research projects involve machine learning, AI, deep neural networks, large language models, and so on. Once you graduate, and even before you graduate, you'll have opportunities for internships. You will have opportunities to interview for top jobs and so forth. I know that some of you have expressed a concern that the job market has softened. These things are cyclical, they go up and down, but going forward, I have zero doubt there's going to be a continued incredibly strong demand for computer scientists and various types of engineers with a background in CS. You can go to the next slide, please. I already talked about this. So we have lots of students, most of them at the master's level. Even in CS, we're the largest department on campus. We have a brand new building. In fact, if you can see my, I'm not sure if you are able to see my avatar or my face. In the background is a shot of the new Ginsburg building. So now we're finally in a position where we can house all of these people. Of course, not at the same time. I don't think there's a single building probably in LA that could house 6,500 people between the students, faculty, and staff. But we finally we have our home, and it's a state-of-the-art facility, and we're super excited about it. We have two different two different master's programs run out of the computer science department. You can get a degree in computer science or data science. A majority of our students, master students, are in computer science, but there is actually a pretty sizable cohort of students in data science as well. Next slide, please. These are our faculty. On the left, you have people who are on the tenure track. On the right, you have people who are research faculty. In the middle, you have people who are primarily doing teaching, and I'll very quickly explain what the difference is. People on the tenure track, I am on the tenure track myself. We're expected to balance our work between research and teaching, and then there is some other stuff that we end up having to do that we generally term service. So, for example, me serving as department chair while being a professor is considered an act of service to the university and to the School of Engineering and to the School of Advanced Computing, which we're a part of, and to the department, right? But I'm still doing research, and in fact, I'm in charge of one class. So my teaching load is not exactly zero, but it's a very light class just because I'm busy otherwise. So the people on the left that you see, there are 3 assistant professors, and in the lower right, 1 associate professor. So the person in the lower right, who's wearing glasses there, he got tenure a few years ago. Their research spans natural language processing in the lower right, robotics in the upper right, machine learning in the upper left, and computer science theory, and human-computer interaction and software engineering in the lower left. And these people basically teach some classes and do some research. The people on the right-hand side, the research faculty, they're primarily doing research. That means that they don't have to teach classes. They can advise students. They run research projects. And their job is to look for external research funding so they can fund their efforts and obviously their salary and so forth. So those are research faculty, even though occasionally you will see some of them teach our classes because they're, world-class experts in various areas. So, for example, the gentleman in the lower right, John May, is a world expert in natural language processing, and he will teach a graduate level class in advanced NLP as just one example. And then you have people in the middle who are teaching faculty. They're not expected to do research. They essentially teach a pretty large number of classes, usually about 5 classes a year from each one of them. And that's basically their job. They will split their teaching between undergraduate and graduate. Each one of these people actually teaches at least one graduate level class. So there's a pretty good chance that whether you're in CS or data science, you will be seeing one or more of them in your classes. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the department leadership team. I'm chair. We have 3 associate chairs. Professor Ferrara is the associate chair for the PhD program and research faculty affairs. That's not as relevant to you. Professor Halfon is associate chair for undergraduate programs and teaching faculty affairs. You will be dealing periodically with some full-time teaching faculty, so there you might cross paths with him. And Professor Nicolaitis on the right is the associate chair for the master's programs, and he's the person that you might most likely cross paths with, and you might have questions that he would be able to answer, or you might meet with him for various reasons and so on. Next slide, please. Beyond that, the department is, so the previous breakdown was basically kind of administrative team that manages various things that are happening in the department in terms of making sure our classes are staffed. In fact, today I have with several of these people a 2-hour meeting where we're going to be discussing, well, it's scheduled for 2 hours. It might run longer than that. We're going to be discussing what classes are going to be offered in the spring semester of 2026 and who's going to be teaching those classes. So we've already made all those decisions a few months ago for fall 2025. Now we're going to be discussing spring 2026, and that's an administrative kind of thing. But then the department itself also has these various affinity groups. These are research areas. So for example, Chao Wang is the leader of the group that I fall in. As I already mentioned, I do research in software engineering. Haipeng Luo is the leader of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. group. David Kempe, theory and computation, and Yernay Barbik, vision, robotics, graphics, and HCI. So we have multiple different people doing research in each one of these areas. And if something comes up, somebody wants to propose a new class, or a student says, hey, how come you don't have a class on, I don't even know, applications of large language models in robotics, which actually we're working on a class like that. But let's say you come up with a suggestion like that and say, hey, I just saw that, Penn State or University of Zurich or whatever has a class like that. That would be a fantastic offering. Then we might talk about it, and Yernay would be involved in kickstarting that discussion, reaching out to faculty who might be able to teach such a class, given that LLMs are an AI area as well. He might talk to Haipeng, and then between the two of them, they might come up with an idea for how to create such a class, put it on the books, and make it available so that all of you could take it, as one example. Next slide, please. As I already mentioned, we have a new home. It's an incredibly beautiful building. It's the most beautiful building on campus. In fact, we have lots and lots of students who are not CS students who just come in there so they could just kind of study in the open spaces. The building is like 98% finished. There is one sunken garden, for example, that still needs to be installed and things like that. But we've moved in. We've been in there. I moved in last October, so it's been almost 6 months since I've been there. And slowly, the rest of the department has followed. So this is our new home, and in a way, you can think of it as our forever home because it's a brand new building. It's going to be around certainly much longer than you will be at USC if you only spend here a couple of years, and it'll definitely outlast me because I'll eventually retire in, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. This building is still going to be there. It's when you come to campus, you will not miss it. You'd be able to miss it. It is the most beautiful building on campus. Next slide, please. So yeah, these are some of the main features. As you can see on the right-hand side, there are some photos of these large collaborative spaces where students can kind of just hang out and have impromptu discussions or just relax. It is LEED Platinum certified. What that means is basically that it's essentially it's a green, sustainable building. It has a beautiful auditorium like no other on campus at this point. There are these collaboration atriums. So the lower right photo there is something that exists on floors 2 and 4, where floor 3 does not have that area, meaning that the space is open from floor 2 to floor 4. And then on floor 4, it's open on floors 4 and 5. So you basically have 2 stories of open space with windows floor to ceiling on your right-hand side there. Lots of different labs, lots of different research happening there, PhD students in their offices and so forth. So you'll be able to see all of that, just kind of, sort of ingest the building through osmosis and feel the energy of the new place. We used to be distributed across 8 different buildings on campus. It was a very different vibe back then than it is right now. Next slide, please. Right, so these are some other screenshots, some photos, students collaborating on the right-hand side. This is on the ground floor of the building toward the back. It looks like, and then based on the furniture and what's shown there, and then this is the front of the building. This is the entrance of the Dr. Allen and Charlotte Ginsberg Hall is what the building's named. Next slide, please. This is the wide open area in the first underground level going all the way up to the ground level, and this is where basically you'll see bunches of students just kind of hanging out on those cushioned benches, essentially doing work, chilling, listening to music, studying, etc. And then the underground levels, a couple things there. There's obviously furniture for people to gather and do their work. And then there are lots of these privacy pods where if you want just total isolation and the ability to take a meeting, a job interview, or just to study for an exam, there are a bunch of those. There are 4 of them shown in this slide. They're fully internet equipped. You get a monitor, there's a desk, etc. Next slide, please. Again, more open space here. You can actually see that there is that, as I already said, from second and third, and then 4th and 5th floors have these large atriums. On the right-hand side, you see the big staircase, cascading seating in the main portion of the building, and students sitting around talking to one another or just kind of chilling on their own. Next slide, please. Yeah, lots of research in all kinds of super exciting areas. You can look all that stuff up online as well. All of our faculty are online, etc. The people you'll be interacting with most directly are our amazing student services team. There are lots of you, as you saw, the number is thousands of students, and as you can see, in a way, a shockingly small number of people who are incredibly skilled at what they do. They pretty much know everything about the program, and they're really good at answering questions and making sure that you stay on track to graduate. So at this point, I will yield the floor to Steve and Idania, who I saw online. I don't know if anybody else is.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Medvedevich. So I'll go ahead and take it on from here. Our portion will be very short as well, but just want to briefly introduce myself. My name is Steve Pham. I'm the Senior Associate Director of MS Programs here with the CS Student Affairs team. I'm also joined here by Idania Takimoto and Flor Martinez. And then Erica Kim is our third advisor. So we have a very small team, as Dr. Nino mentioned, and a very large student population, but we definitely try our best to support students in any way that we can. Idania, next slide, please. With that, I just want to go over just some general frequently asked questions that we get from a lot of our students, particularly before they come to USC, but then also once they arrive here at USC. one of the main questions, Daniel, next slide is just what degrees do we have in the CS department? And I guess what are some of the most popular programs? And then what can the student affairs team or student services team assist with? So for every student that's in this session today, you should all be computer science students. So most of you will be in the CS general program or one of the three specializations, which include artificial intelligence, data science, or game development. And then probably our second biggest program is a scientists and engineers program, which is 37 units, and all of our other programs are 32 units. Regarding what the student affairs team and student services team does is we really help students with anything related to your academic degree. So a lot of that is related to course selection, registration. For students that have already certified and confirmed that they are coming to USC, you'll be getting an email in a couple of weeks regarding registration for the upcoming semester. Our goal is academic success, so just making sure that students take the correct courses so they can graduate on time. We have a lot of students here that are also curious about how to get involved on campus because as a USC student, you'll be spending a lot of your time focusing on your classes and your grades and things like that. But we always encourage students to try and get involved on campus, join clubs, join organizations, do research and do anything that you can do to make your USC experience a full comprehensive experience. And then a lot of times just helping students transition from wherever they were doing before coming to USC and once they get to USC. Next slide, please. Once again, the three main programs or the three main specializations we have are data science, game development, and artificial intelligence, which are 32 units. And then I would probably say the majority of students in today's session are in the general track, which is the only program that requires 570, and then all of your other courses are electives. One main question that we do hear from students often is, hey, if I was admitted into this program, general, can I switch to AI or game development? So this is definitely possible. We actually have a lot of students that end up switching in and out of the specializations or into general throughout their time here at USC. The main thing to be aware of is just the note at the bottom that students can change specializations after completing their first semester. So it's not something that we can do before you start at USC. Students typically have to complete their first semester courses first and maintain a GPA of 3.0 or better to be able to switch into a specialization. However, it is a little bit different if you're already in a specialization and you want to switch into general. For students in that situation, there's actually no minimum GPA. So if you get admitted into AI and you take those two first semester courses and you decide, you know what, I want to have more flexibility in my schedule, I don't really want to do just AI courses, you can switch into general in your second semester without needing a specific GPA. And then next slide, please. Lastly, just for students in the scientists and engineers program. So this is a 37-unit program, and it's typically designed for students that don't have a bachelor's degree in computer science or a very limited background in computer science. So we have a lot of students that come from a science background, whether that be biology, chemistry, but we also have other engineering undergraduate degrees as well. So we have a lot of mechanical engineers, civil engineers that maybe want to pivot their careers and go into CS. So this is the perfect program for students in that situation. There are some preparatory courses and foundational courses that students have to take, which is why this program is a little bit longer. CSCI 455X, which is the preparatory programming class, and then you have CS 402, which is operating systems, and then EE 450. So a couple of different courses that you'll need to take, but other than that, the majority of your program will be very similar to students in the other CS degrees. And then lastly, students in this program are not allowed to switch into any of the specializations. Once again, because this program is meant for students that have a limited background in CS, you will have to remain in this program throughout your entire time here at USC. And then lastly, I think the last two slides, I'll go ahead and hand it back to you, Nino, to discuss a little bit about career. Nino?
I'm sorry, I was answering a question and
Oh, no worries.
yeah, can you
Yeah, I can take care of it. Yeah.
no, please,
yeah,
please. Just let me
yeah.
know what was, because I had you were not fully muted, but I couldn't quite hear.
No. Yeah, so we're on the last slide regarding USC being a top feeder school to Silicon Valley, and I think you would be a great person to talk to that a
Oh,
little bit
yes,
more.
yes. So I answered a question. You can find it in the Q&A from somebody who asked something related to research rather than kind of the programmatics of the program. So you can find the answer there, and it relates to how you get involved with research. So it might be relevant to multiple students. And thank you, Steve, for um, giving me another shot at this. So basically, as I already mentioned in the portion of the presentation that where I spoke primarily. As a graduate, you will have opportunities for jobs in top places, or at least job interviews in top places. At that point, it's up to you, and of course, it depends on who's hiring, et cetera, et cetera. We have, for example, we have an advisory board for the computer science department. Most of the members of the advisory board are our own graduates who got a master, some of actually probably at this point, about half of them at least got their master's degree within the program and took jobs in Silicon Valley. And these people have done incredibly well. So that, 20 years later, they're VPs of major companies, for example, and they are on our advisory board. So other than Carnegie Mellon University, of all of the top schools, we are basically, we've been able to place more of our students than any of the rest of them. And this includes places like Berkeley and Georgia Tech and Illinois and UW, et cetera. And we're actually pretty close to CMU, so who knows, we might overtake them as well. So it's something to keep in mind and basically to start planning for, because 2 years will go by very fast.
Thanks, Dino. And then I think that actually ends up finishing our portion of the presentation, but we do want to give students some time to ask some questions as well. So I do see a lot of questions in the Q&A section already, so I'll go ahead and get started on a couple of them. One question I saw was that I was just admitted into the CS program. Can I take a few courses from the business school as electives as well? So this is a great question. We actually have a lot of students that have dual interest in a lot of different programs, not just CS. So we always tell students that if you're interested in a class that's not within the computer science department, or maybe it's in data science, or maybe it's in the business school, we do have a list of already pre-approved courses from other departments that are already eligible for students to take as part of the degree. I'm actually going to leave that in the Zoom chat right now. However, if there are courses that aren't on this list and you're interested in taking them and you provide a statement and a valid reason, we're more than welcome, or you're more than welcome to submit a petition to our department to have that reviewed. We're always here to support students in their academic journey here at USC. So if that means, taking a class from another department that you might be interested in, we'll try our best to take a look at that for you and then have that reviewed. So great question. I do see another question regarding for the MS General track. Do I have to take only 4 credit courses? Can I take 3 or 2 credit courses? So the majority of the courses within the CS and data science department is 4 units. It's actually very rare that we have 3-unit courses. And to my knowledge, I don't think we have any 2-credit unit courses at all. So there are a couple of 3-credit unit courses that are actually on the list that I just provided. For example, in the math department or the electrical engineering department that has already been approved, and that's 3 units. So you're more than welcome to take those courses as well. But the important thing that you want to remember is that your program is either going to be 32 units or 37 units. So if you take a 3-unit class and you're in a 32-unit program, you'll have to make up that 1 unit somewhere, which is definitely possible doing research and other things. But you want to just make sure that the math is correct when you're completing these courses to make sure that you still get to that 32-unit course. I guess 32-unit minimum to graduate. But great question. I do see a question. I'm in the scientists and engineers program. Am I allowed to participate in directed research courses? So yeah, definitely. We actually encourage any student, regardless of which program you're in, whether that be artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, or sorry, not machine learning, software engineering, or any other program that you might be in, to do research if that's an area that you're interested in. I will note that not every single program can use directed research towards elective credit, but we also allow students to do volunteer research, which is essentially the same thing without you needing to pay for the class. So if research is something that you're interested in, I always recommend students to take a look at our website, which I'll actually link here as well. This is a pretty comprehensive list of all the research areas, labs, and faculty that we have in the CS department, and we try to keep it pretty updated every single semester. So this is a great resource for students that are interested in research, not sure how to get started, and then maybe not even sure what areas of research that we have here at USC. And then lastly, I'll take one more question because I believe we do have a student panel that I definitely want to get to. But one question that I did see is for students that are working full time or working part time, is it manageable to take classes and work at the same time? So we definitely do have students that do work or have work or in an internship and pursue school at the same time. I will say though, it is very, very hard. I basically tell every single student that a full-time class schedule at USC is essentially a full-time job. Yeah, I know in undergrad you might have taken 5 or 6 classes, and then at the graduate level here at USC, 2 courses is considered full-time, which is a big difference, but I'll be completely honest with you all. 2 courses is a very huge, intense, and rigorous load, especially here at USC. A lot of our courses are rigorous, and I think that's a lot of the reasons why you all applied to USC. You didn't want to just have an easy degree, right? So coming to USC, if you are planning to pursue internships or jobs or research while going to school, I always tell students to just really have your time management skills down, because it can get pretty heavy and intense pretty quickly. But then with that being said, I believe we do have 2 students here that will be taking part of the panel. I don't know if Nino you're staying, but I do want to give Nino a quick shout out. Just thank you for being here. I know a lot of chairs that wouldn't take the time to take part of these presentations and webinars, and Nino always makes themselves available. So shout out to
As
Nino for
long
being
as
here.
long as I have my coffee, I'm fine.
Thanks, Nino. I appreciate it. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward with our session with the student panel. Chelsea Huang and Denheng Shi are our two students here, and I'll go ahead and moderate our student panel today. So with that being said, um, if you both can just maybe share your name, major, hometown, and why you chose USC, and then feel free to go in whatever order you'd like.
So I'll start. Hello, everyone. I'm Chelsea. I'm a first year, second semester computer science general track student. I am from London. I chose USC because I looked at the schools in California, and this is one of my top choices. So.
Okay, so hello everyone. I am Deng Heng and also Xiaodi. And I'm the second year Master of Computer Science student here at USC. And I'm also in the general track. I chose USC simply because I love the vibe here. And a lot of friends recommend me here. Yeah, I got a lot of friends in USC. And yeah, and it turned out to be really true. And I love here. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both for sharing. So I know you both said that you've enjoyed your experience here at UST so far. So I wanted to ask, on the academic side, what are the classes like thus far? You know, I think Chelsea, you've been here for about a year, and Dengheng, you've been here for 2 years. So what are the classes like, and how demanding has the coursework been for you both so far?
Uh, I'll start. There are definitely classes that are a lot more taxing than others. Like in my opinion, you shouldn't take 2 really challenging classes at the start, especially not in your first semester like I did. For me, I came in like a little too overconfident because I did really well in my bachelor's, and I thought, oh, it's like masters, how much more difficult could it be? So I kind of went in and I chose two specifically very hard courses to take. And I definitely do feel like I struggled a little in the first semester because two classes, as Steve mentioned, is actually quite a heavy workload. And the course structure is not really the same as what I was used to in undergrad. Like it's a lot of work. So, if you want to take harder classes, I would definitely recommend you balance them. Like take one hard class and take one that's more manageable, like that maybe you have a slight background in already, is what I would recommend.
Yeah, what I want to say is like similar to Chelsea, and some courses are definitely be demanding, but if you start early, like you prepare enough and talk with your like team up with your friends or talk with your professor from time to time, maybe you will get more prepared and feel comfortable with the amount of the work. So like I will also want to say most of the courses will be more like a lecture, not like discussion based, because we have a very large amount of people in every class, especially in computer science courses. Yeah. So I would recommend you to seize the opportunity of the office hour to talk more with the professor, maybe after class or maybe in the specific office hour time. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you. Yeah, I think those pieces of information is really important for a student, especially in their first semester, right? Because like you both mentioned, it's very different from undergrad, and the transition can be difficult for students that aren't prepared for it. With that being said, I know you also mentioned that some courses here are very rigorous, but can you both tell me maybe a little bit about what your favorite class has been at USC so far? And if you can't choose a specific class, maybe a project or an assignment that you found very interesting.
For me, I think my favorite class so far has to be one I'm taking this semester, which is Natural Language Processing 544. I think this one, the actual lecture content itself is like different from the kind of homeworks that we are given. And I think the homework for this class has been pretty interesting to do. You start off small, and then towards the end we're building our own like just training language models and stuff. And I just find it really interesting to see the stuff that we've been taught like actually in a project itself. And then I think the rest of this class from about now onwards is only group project and research based, which I also really like. And there's also a lot of like guest lectures, lecturers that come in. And for example, I think Professor John May was mentioned earlier on. He did come in to give a guest lecture, and another lecturer who also works in NLP that I'm interested in working with in a lab also came in. So I think this has been a great class. And I also do want to shout out the databases professor, Professor Sathi. I'm pretty sure he's like very, very famous throughout our department because he's just he is just so like great taking his classes because he's so fun and he is like a very, very like passionate person. So those are my favorite classes.
Yeah, I also agree that Seti is very famous and his class is usually very funny and also chill. Yeah, definitely recommend. And I want to say my favorite course would be the Advanced Mobile Devices and Games, which is CSCI 526. It's actually a game development course where you gotta team up with your friends like in a size of 6 or 4, depends on the class size. And then you made a game from scratch, which is so amazing. And this is an opportunity that I never had before. So I really enjoy that process from teaming up with your friends and learning all the development skills in game. And also at the same time, this course is not very hard to get an A. So I really recommend you when you need that a good grade as well as like a game development experience to take that class. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear. I will note that all our CS courses are very, very difficult. There's no easy A in this department. But with that being said, I want to transition a little bit outside of academics and discuss maybe, or have you both discuss a little bit about careers and jobs. So can you, either of you share how this program has helped you with your career goals? Maybe whether that be securing an internship or maybe applying for full-time jobs or the researchers on campus that has helped you with industry and career?
So for me, I've been mostly looking into getting more research experience. So I have been able to reach out to a few labs, and as I mentioned before, one of the guest lecturers of the NLP class, she runs the Lime Labs, Professor Zhao, and I'm in contact with them to see if I can get some research experience with them. My advice for that is just to look at the link that was sent earlier in chat and have a look at the labs that you have you're interested in, and just like have a look at the pages from like the professors and also the labs, and they usually have some form or something that you fill in. And the way it worked for me is I filled in the form, and then the professor contacted me for a meeting to see if our research interests align. And I think probably Dongheng can speak more on the like internship side of things.
Yeah, sure. Like, I would say last year I got my internship on a on-campus event, which is amazing. And I just randomly ran into someone and talked with him, and they offered me an internship offer, which is something I never expected. And I would say join more events on campus. There are so many info sessions from all kinds of companies, and also join the Korea Center events, such as they will have like workshops, they will have annual career fair for individual department, and also from all the departments. So definitely try those things so that you can have more exposure of the market and also the whole process of job hunting. Yeah, but right now I'm still in the process of job hunting. So I know it could be hard right now. And but I would say I'm really glad that I have support from my school, USC Career Center, and also all the friends, all the professors for me, so that I will feel like it's not that hard. I still got in the process. Yeah. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you, for those great answers. It seems like we'll have a lot of students that are interested in full-time work, internships, but then also students that are interested in research as well, and possibly, pursuing a PhD down the line. So it's great to hear that you have two different experiences there. I know we're supposed to end at 10 a.m. today, so I do want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I do have one question that I was going to ask. We actually saw a student ask it as well in the Q&A. So last question for today. What have you liked most about your experience at USC so far? And what's something that was unexpected, and maybe something that you would have maybe improved on or would like to see differently? So I know a lot of questions there, so I'll put it in the Zoom chat for you all as well.
Yeah, I saw this question too. I'll start with the unexpected thing. As I briefly mentioned before, I did very well in my undergrad, and I definitely didn't expect to like the step up between undergrad and graduate school, the difference in like the workload and like how fast some classes expect you to pick up new information. Especially because I took like a 2-year gap between my undergrad and my graduate program to do some research and get some more experience. So definitely trying to get back into the rhythm of things was unexpectedly hard for me. And that is something that I wish I also improved on, like my time management from the start, managing my own expectations, and just like reaching out more for help with like academics, like attending more office hours, talking to professors more, especially in my first semester. And the thing that I like best, if I'm being really honest, I'm not sure if this is the best place to say, but I feel like when looking into a school, in terms of the actual quality of the classes and the quality of like the lecture content that you'll be given, a lot of schools offer amazing programs and classes. So you have to really look at things just outside of this as well when you're choosing a school. And for me, my favorite aspect of USC is the variety of extracurricular activity there is, and like clubs and societies, and also events like not just like for internships and for like academic related events, but also like, for example, they have sessions where you go and pet puppies together, or like you have this, we have an event every like other week where we go and knit beanies for premature babies. And like these kind of like events around campus is like the thing that I really admire about USC, and that has been my favorite aspect so far.
Yeah, I totally agree with Chelsea. And I would just at some points like I kind of like USC the community vibe and also the children network. Why I say that? Because I joined a lot of volunteers at my first in my first year at USC through the Viterbi Impact, and also I joined as a member of Women Engineering. I joined a lot of events organized by them, so that because in the first year I feel really confused about many things and feel sometimes feel disappointed of maybe my work, my study, and but the people there really support me and give me the encouragement, and I can get back to my work and study quickly. So I would say those things I want to just let the prospective students know that the Children Network is so solid that everybody is in there and is there to help you. Yeah. So
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And I do want to echo a little bit of what both of you mentioned as well. USC, obviously, in terms of academics, we're one of the top universities across the nation in computer science. But outside of that, what makes USC unique is that it's more than just a school for you to get your master's degree. It's really a place for you to find yourself, but then find the group of people that you want to be around. There's so many opportunities in LA, but then within USC itself. We have so many organizations. I think we have right now over 300 student organizations that students could take a part of. That's not even including the random events that USC hosts like all throughout the semester. For example, I think Chelsea mentioned, but our department, the CS department, we actually hosted I think it was like a post midterm celebration where we actually bought therapy dogs for students to come and pet. We had carnival food and just a place for students to interact with one another, interact with faculty and staff. So I really implore students that do come to USC, or if you do choose USC, to obviously focus on your academics, but really take the time to settle into the USC culture, the LA culture, because I don't know. I'm not just saying this because I'm born and raised in LA, but LA is probably the greatest place in the United States. So, with that being said, I really want to thank Chelsea and Deng Heng today for being a part of the student panel, and I want to thank the Viterbi Welcome and Admissions team as well for setting this up. With that being said, we are at the end of today's session. It is 10 a.m. I believe this session is being recorded as well, so this will be I don't know if it will be sent to students, but it will definitely be on our websites for students to watch a little bit later if they do have questions. But other than that, Julie, any final words for students in this session?
Thank you so much. I also just want to echo the praise and gratitude to our students in the your comments. I think really help students to make their decisions and really give students a snapshot of what it's like to be a student here at USC. And I love that you have very like diverse but yet similar experiences, and just really encapsulate the Trojan spirit and what it means to be a Trojan. So thank you so much. If anyone has any other questions, sometimes you don't think of them right now and sometimes we don't have time, but down the line, please reach out. We are, very accessible and just willing to answer questions at any time. So with that, to enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you on campus in the fall. For some of you in the summer. All right, fight on.
Bye, everyone. Take care.